Hey everybody, we're back in Bucharest, Romania with our residency expert, Remus. We've been doing these types of videos with Remus now for 3 years, and he's been a wealth of information and has helped several of our viewers come and find their home here in Bucharest and in Romania all over, actually, I guess. Um, but this is an interesting time for us because in this particular moment, Romania has joined Schengen, so it's a little bit different. That means they joined the block of 29 countries that have borderless travel, so you can basically drive from Greece now to Poland, and there won't be a border check along the way. But that changes things a little bit for Romania as well because they are now part of Schengen and adhering to Schengen rules. Something else that came up, as some of you may know from previous videos, there's a corporation capability in Romania to have residency. And Julie and I actually are just finishing up the process of applying for our Romania residency due to a corporation we just opened. We're actually going to be Romania residents. So after all these years of traveling in Europe and doing the Schengen Shuffle, and we own a home in Montenegro. We have a lot of things going on, but we are doing a corporation now, and we'll have actually residency at least for this coming year. We'll see how it all works out here in Romania. So, Remus, thank you for joining us again, and helping us get things set up for us as well.
I'm happy that you trusted us after all these years we've been speaking about the residency and so on. How did you feel the process until now?
So far it's been fairly
Excellent.
painless. We've submitted paperwork to you, the things that you've needed. So we basically were able to come right into Bucharest, a day and a half ago, come in and sign a few things, and for a residency part, and you've already done the majority of the work of the company setup
Yes,
for us.
his
So
staff has been excellent.
explain to our viewers what we have done in as far as for residency and what needs to be done if somebody wants to live in Romania, and are there other options beyond the corporation?
So now Warren and Julie, they came to Romania based on the corporation, and from my point of view, is the most independent way that you can come to Romania because you don't need the approval of a church. You don't need a doctor certificate. I mean, there are multiple ways of coming and staying in Romania. Best way would be if you're married with a Romanian citizen, but not everybody is married with a Romanian. And but now you came with a corporation, which even though in hindsight it might be a little bit more expensive, gives you flexibility. The conditions now for U.S. citizens, they are not much. We've done some calculations earlier, so for the first year per person, the taxes are only the taxes are 280 euro for the residency permit. But starting with the second year, you need to add the state health insurance. The taxes go down a bit, but they are around 800 euros. So it's a bit of uh, contribution that you need to make to the Romanian state. But you are independent. You have a Schengen residence permit. You can travel. For this type of residence permit, there are no minimum time to stay in Romania. However, we advise to stay at least when we submit for the residency permit until you get it. Uh, and you can travel, you can do whatever you want. The company from the second year should be a bit active to have around 1,000 euro per person as income. And at the moment, everything is quite straightforward. We didn't have any problems. If you establish yourselves in Bucharest with an address in Bucharest, we have fast appointments. Everything is done mostly remotely. You just need to come to the immigration office, take your so they can take your picture, your fingerprints, and in 30 days you get a residency permit.
I can say personally, it was incredibly easy. Getting the digital fingerprints were so simple in comparison to some countries where you have to do it by paper, send it back to the United States to the FBI, and get it apostilled. So this was incredibly quick and easy.
Yeah, so as Americans, we didn't need to do a visa D.
Yeah, That's one of the benefits. So, as an American, one, you don't need a visa. Don't need any paper from the US. If you're in Europe now and you say, okay, you want to move to Romania, you just come here with your passport. Preferably, we discuss a bit in advance because Julie and Warren didn't start now in January the process. We actually started it in December, if I remember, November, December. So we can do many things before you come to Romania. Start the incorporation of the company, pay the taxes and everything. You have your whole file ready. So when you come, we have the appointment, the file ready. You just go the next day at the immigration office. They take your fingerprints, your picture. You wait, get the residence permit, and that's it.
So now, many of you guys know that I do international travel and international medical insurance. It's part of my history as being a licensed agent. But if you're part of the Romanian corporation, you will be paying approximately 500 euros per person per year to be on the Romanian health system, which will give you access to the Romanian general practice as well as the hospitals. But beyond that, if you have emergency care needs outside of Romania, inside Europe, you have an EU medical card, right?
Exactly. So when you are insured in Romania in the public health system, you can request to the public authorities to have a EU health insurance card so you can travel around Europe. That health insurance card is not, I don't know, I'm insured in Romania and I go for treatment in Austria or in Germany or in France. But if you go with that card on the road in the car and you have an accident, it covers you. If you go and you go skiing in the French Alps, it covers you. You go with it at the hospital. If I remember correctly, it also covers you in the Swiss. So you can travel anywhere as long as it's emergency care. You are being treated. There's nothing to pay, and indeed, I mean, it's not like private health insurance. I can start and give you all the benefits of a private health insurance and why it's better to have a private health insurance in Europe. But it covers most of the basics. And with the private health insurance, you are the expert, but in Romania at least, if you use the health insurance, usually your premiums can go up, or at least that's how it's here. With the Romanian state health insurance, you have a fixed amount, you use it, and you can save up on your private health insurance to not use it, so your premiums are kept low until you really use it and use it for something big. I don't know if you have uh, an autoimmune disease or cancer or something happens to you, you can go then on the private health insurance and use that.
But if you did have cancer in Romania, the public health system would help treat you and
Yeah.
cover you on that as well.
Yes.
And so Romania's healthcare system has been improving over the years. How would you say the public health system is now in comparison to the other countries in Europe?
With the Romanian medical health insurance, I would say that at least 90% of the Romanians have only the state health insurance. We don't, there are very few people that have the private ones, and most of the private ones are issued by the employers because they have some sort of tax facilities and to attract you, hey, we also give you private health insurances. Um, but most of us, uh, what are the downsides of public? There's a bit of wait time. I mean, you cannot go today and see a specialist, for example. You need to go through a general practitioner. He will give you a referral. You go to the specialist. The specialist will give you a further referral from some blood work test and so on. But me, for example, yearly I do my blood work and it's free of charge. And there are quite a lot of blood work that they are doing. So if you do only the blood work properly in Romania, you get your subscription off. If you even if you have prior diseases, you can come to Romania and you can treat them here because by paying, they are it's not like, oh, you had this prior to coming to Romania, will not treat you. You can find a general practitioner, he'll give you a referral, you see a specialist, and they could give you care. There are some limitations, of course. Dental care is not covered. If you need everything regarding cancer is covered, but there are some queues. And also, if you come to Romania, that this is another part of the question. If you come to Romania and you need healthcare, my best advice would be to come to Bucharest, and because here we have the best hospitals, the budgets are quite big, and everything is newer. They invested all the specialists, the best doctors in Romania usually are in Bucharest, Cluj, but you're not linked to one city as far as I know. So practically, even if you are living in Brasov, you can come to Bucharest for healthcare, or you can go to another doctor in another city. We have many that are living nearby Bucharest and are coming to the Bucharest hospitals to be taken care of, to speak with doctors here, to get their surgeries here. Even surgeries, many surgeries are covered by uh, the public health insurance.
And Brasov, by train, you've taken this train a few times. How long does it take to go back and forth?
I think 2 hours and a half, but there's a bit of track which is not up to EU standards.
Mhm.
When that would be up to EU standards, probably it would be 2 hours and 15 minutes or something like that. I think now it's 2 hours 45.
Okay.
But if you want to go from Bucharest to Pushten, which is like 20-30 kilometers from Brasov, you go there in 2 hours. So if you like skiing, hiking, and going out in the wild, you can stay in Bucharest. In the morning at 6 a.m., you take train to Pushten, you go in the mountains, and you can take a train back in the evening and be back in Bucharest.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes. So, so there's a. I guess what I'm trying to bring here is that the idea of when we look at the cost to do the minimum part of holding the corporation open, paying the taxes, and getting the residency here, we can potentially downgrade our private health insurance and almost make it a financial wash, especially as we get a little bit older, as our premiums go higher. So it will be a nice safety net to know that you've got the regular healthcare system. And then if we were traveling and we wanted just more or less a travel policy instead of a regular expat policy, that's going to be less expensive as well. But if you whatever your insurance needs are, you can reach me at warrenjulietravel@gmail.com. Also, to get a hold of Remus, you can email me at warrenjulietravel@gmail.com. But we have all the international health insurance companies I represent over at warrenjulietravel.com, and you can go to our health insurance tab there. I guess the kind of one of the cool things is now that you guys are Schengen, which is for a long time we really have had to struggle because of trying to stay outside the Schengen. We do 90 days inside the whole zone of 29 countries, then have to leave the whole zone. So Montenegro has been our go-to place, and we own a home there, beautiful country. But by having the Schengen status here, it does change things a bit. Now, instead of 90 days in the whole zone, you can do 90 days per country that's in the zone. So if you were to have your residency from Romania, doesn't mean you can go and say, I'm going to live in France for 11 months out of the year and then come back to Romania for a month. No, it means you can go to France for 90 days, then you'd have to leave France for 90 days. You can go to Spain for the 90 days and then back to France, whatever. But that's how it works. It's 90 days per country, like it used to be prior to Schengen for Americans, where you can go to each country individually, but there's still no borders between these countries. So you have more freedom to move. For Julie and I, as you know, we travel full time with our dogs and we want to show people what it's like to live in different countries, different places. This gives us more flexibility to be in some countries and not have to feel so rushed to uh, get out of the Schengen zone because our clock is ticking. So it means we can maybe produce a little bit more uh, content that's based on countries in the Schengen without it having to be so limited. And of course, I will be spending in Romania, so we'll get some more Romania content into this as well. But Romania's cost of living here is pretty fantastic.
Yes.
It's one of the best countries as far as cost of living in the continent of Europe, especially when you compare it to the other EU countries. So your dollar goes a long way. Um, Being an American and coming to Romania, or if you're coming from Canada or you're coming from anywhere else in the world, if you're coming here with income from abroad that's not connected with your corporation, does that get taxed by Romania? Like especially like things like a pension or your foreign investments, like if you had a retirement account in America.
The pensions are not taxed in Romania. We have a double taxation treaty between most of the countries, but US we have one with the US, and with the US, the pensions are not taxed in Romania. Uh, the problem is that the US pension system is very complex, as you know it. You have 401ks, you have your social security, and so on. Depending how your income comes and from what parts, you have the Roth IRA. Uh, the social security is not taxed. The 401k is considered a pension, as far as I know. There are some experts in Romania, and you can contact them. However, in order to be taxed in Romania, you must be deemed a tax resident in Romania. So, for example, in your case, if you are not staying in Romania for more than 183 days within 1 year, and you are circling between EU countries and you have interest in Montenegro, you have interest in the US, you have some interest in Romania, at one point they're gonna be, okay, what do you want? I want to be a tax resident in the US. Okay, remain in the US, you just have a corporation here and you do some income, but I don't know, you don't stay, this is not your main central vital interest in Romania.
Yeah, so that's an important lesson right there. So if we're going to be running around and we do have a Romania corporation, in which we would also have to have a Romania address, we do have our home in Montenegro and we do have our vested interest of stuff in the United States as well. So we have our case to say, okay, we're still going to be under Uncle Sam's tax laws and doing our IRS filing, but be additional tax work and paperwork that you'll have to do when you are submitting your U.S. tax return because you'll be a owner of a corporation overseas. So that's something additional, but it shouldn't be a hurdle that's going to keep you from moving forward. Now there are companies that we're dealing with that are tax experts for all countries for expats moving abroad. So if you want us to put you in contact with our tax experts, please send us an email at warrenjulietravel@gmail.com and we'll send you an email and put you in touch with an expat tax expert. I brought up that we will have to have an address with our corporation as we're have a location here in Romania. What are the rules for owning property as a foreigner in Romania? Can you own it, or does it need to be put to the corporation's name, or how does it work?
So for owning, now, going with the addresses, practically for the corporation, you can have a virtual address. Technically, it's an address which we can also provide. But you don't need to have a physical office there. You don't need to have staff there. It's just like a mailing address. For the personal address in Romania, it should be a physical address somewhere where you are living, and you have the address where somebody is taking you in their home and helping you stay there. Um, Now, for owning real estate, if you consider that, look, I've been in Romania for where I think that I'm going to stay in Romania, I don't want to pay rent, I want to own my house. You can own the property the building as a non-EU citizen. But even if you go and you want to buy an apartment, each apartment comes with a little bit, a small plot of land. The plot of land on which the flat is built upon, that is owned by you individual. As a non-EU citizen, you cannot own that small piece of land. So only with regards to that piece of land, we can put it in the corporation. So you don't need to leave it with the former owner, or you don't need to um, have a friend that will own it on your behalf. You can just put it in your own corporation, and when you are selling the asset, you being the representative of the corporation will be selling the land, and you will be selling the main asset.
So you could actually have, say, 100 square meter house on 500 square meters of land, but the 100 square meters will be in your name personally, but the 500 square meters underneath needs to go under the corporation.
Exactly. If you want, you can put everything under the corporation. It's not a problem. But if you're going to go on that route, usually the taxes are a little bit higher, the local taxes, if the property is owned by a corporation.
Okay. So doing the split up, you save on the taxes.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of tax liabilities do you have under the state here?
Depends. They are low. I mean, if you own real estate as an individual, I can tell you from my personal experience in Bucharest, owning an apartment can range from 50 euro to 100 euro per year. And if you go and own it as a corporation, it can be there's so we have addresses or apartments that can be used for living residential. That's where you pay 100 or 50 euro. It can be mixed use, but you do not deduct anything on the corporation, and that's also considered residential. And then it can be for corporate use. For example, you put your company there and you say that I'm gonna deduct all my invoices, all my uh, everything that is with regards to the apartment. I am going to renovate it based on as corporate expenses and so on. And that's when the taxes go up, and they can go up tenfold or even more. Usually, even if you deduct everything on the corporation, you wouldn't save up by considering the property of corporation if you're not actually doing business there. So it would be to consider it being as residential and treat it like so instead of going the corporate way.
Now, with the corporation, you don't need to have an actual address. You can do a virtual address and go through the office here. But when you're doing your residency, that's when you need to have an address for you as the resident application or applicants, which is a little bit different than for the corporation address. So you won't have the same address for the corporation and the residency application.
Exactly. We had some clients which they rented the apartment based on the corporation, and they did a free lease agreement between the corporation and them as an actual person. Uh, I can debate on it if it's the best option or not, but it's an option, and the immigration accepts it. Uh, and if you don't want to go through the corporation and have the same address, indeed, you should have two separate addresses. That would be the best. Uh, the problem in Romania with landlords is that if you go and tell them that, look, I want to set up my company here and I want to have this address registered at the trade registry under the company name, you would find that most of them would say no. They are reluctant to put a headquarters at their apartment because they think that you will never remove it from there, and they have all sorts of ideas that are from an old period. But the legend still lives on. So many do not want to rent to companies, And if they don't want to rent companies or set up your corporation there, the easiest option would be to have a virtual headquarters and have a small apartment where you live, and that's it.
Okay.
Are there any other avenues for residency that you think people should know about today, or is it really the corporate is the option that is on the table at the moment that is available to people outside of the EU?
Uh, what we have and what we see usually, and procedures that we go through for out of the EU. One would be the main highway is family reunification, but again, you need to be married to a Romanian, or you need to be a parent of a Romanian citizen, or have a parent which is a Romanian citizen, but by some procedure you haven't been uh, naturalized in Romania. The second best option is the one for you, but this applies only for US citizens, US, Canadians, and Japanese to have the corporation set up and be here for economic activities, because this is a route in which usually you need an investment, but for this country, especially, the investment was abolished, to say so, and now you just need to set up the company and have minimum economic activity starting with the second year for the extension. Other options that we've seen with clients, one would be for religious activities. I would say this is one of the cheapest ways because you could have 5 years of residency permit. However, you need to have previous activities as a church activist, or to be involved with church activities in your home country. And when you come to Romania, you need to be accepted by a Romanian church. So you need the approval of the church to go there, to have a schedule with them, and so on.
So you can't just come in with a want to say, okay, I'm going to become a missionary just to get the
No,
the residency permit and then think you're not going to do anything, but you need to show a history and show that this is something you're really committed to. So you can't just depend. You can't be a Hare Krishna for one day. You have to be a really Hare Krishna.
exactly. And you need to have the experience from the past. The church needs to accept you, and then you need an approval from the Ministry of Culture from Romania. So it's a lengthier procedure, but it gives you a 5 year residency permit if they accept you for 5 years at the church.
What about students?
It's a good option. I could not say no to students, but you need to know that students only get enrolled in September. So this could be an option during the summer. Study fees in Romania, although for us as Romanians and EU citizens, they are quite low. If you come as a non-EU citizen, they are high. It can be a couple of thousands of euro per year. You need to go to the courses, and the problem with it is you don't qualify directly for permanent residency even if you stay the 5 years. If you fail to graduate 1 year, you have an extension only of 1 year, so you cannot fail your university studies twice. Uh, and at the end of the studies, you need either to do other studies, or you need to see a way to get another type of residency permit.
Remus, congratulations, by the way, on new baby
Yeah,
that's coming. So
coming soon. This is probably my last recording for the next month or so. Happy that you guys came here early so we can have also these discussions to see each other after such a long time.
So, Remus, thank you again for having us, and it's always good to see you. And as a reminder, Julie and I were traveling with our two dogs, trying to see what it's like to live in different countries, trying to share the experiences and expenses with you, also talking to experts to show you how you can actually live somewhere. And we'll also take a look at real estate and so we hope you're going to subscribe, give the video a like. Don't forget to go check out our website, warrenjulietravel.com. And don't forget to find us on Facebook and join our Facebook group of expats and nomads. It's Expats Slow Travel Nomad Network by Warren and Julie. And we'll hope to see you there. So until next time, have a great day, everybody. Bye bye.
Ciao.
Bye.